I just have a headache, but it's okay. That's my only distraction. But all of you said are my intentions too. And I just want to have a very short updates. Every contributors in the team. I start with myself. I just interviewed more than 12% for UI UX. I just picked it up from pick two persons and introduced it to Marco, and Marco have not set the interview time for them. It's my last update for this afternoon. I'm waiting for him to confirm one of them, and he said that he wants to have more options that I might just follow and interview more people. And I had a friend who can test the APIs, and everything very professional. And I just nominated him to can help us during this process. And we also have a very short discussion about the our main epic about making the monitoring and or security stuff. So I have talked with the team to pen test and made lots of security tests or DAB and find out the vulnerable issues that we have. But after we just asking for the report type and the price, we decide to talk with other teams to have more proposals for this process. And after that, all the vulnerability should convert to clear user stories for development. Is a thing that I'm doing during this sprint. I also working on documentation about what we thought and what we have to do about the integration between the IO and Trace. The document is not completed yet, but I'm working on it, and I'd love to share the whole idea about it. In the last meeting that we have on Trace, and in this meeting in the last week, we just talked about it, but the Griff was not here. So I'd like to say it again about the whole strategy that we have, and have more ideas about all of your contributors here, and that's it. That's my update. I pass it to Mohammed, and would you please give your updates and a short demo of what you did during this week? Thank you.
The main thing that I worked in the last week was the integration between Sentry and our application. I share my screen. I did some tiny issues and bugs that comes unplanned, and I have to work on that, obviously. And for now, I'm working on the Swagger. So I just want to show you the. Do you have my screen for Chrome?
Yep, we see it.
Yes. Yeah.
We added Sentry to the project, and after that, every issue and every crash report that comes to our project that happens, it will comes here and says about, as you see. For example, we had an undefined owner here, and we did a crash. So the Sentry will inform us, and we will fix that. it's the crash reporting, and we have something else here. In the performance monitoring, I think in here.
I'm at your first.
Also, yeah, it's loading. Do you have? It's sorry. Do you have my voice?
Stop your video.
Yeah, screen is loading. No, I can't show you the monitoring for now, but sorry, I don't know why.
It's okay. I love this app. It's my right hand toward making user stories. If we have it on the front end too, we can monitor everything, every error that the user can get. We have notified about it and can, instead of, for example, asking everybody, hey, give us feedback. Do you have any bugs? Is there a voice comes to our mind. Thank you, Mohammed, for the great work. Any other updates?
Thanks, Monique. No, it was just the main thing was it, and the other thing was just tiny issues. I pass it to Rami.
Let me share my screen. Do you have it? One of the issues I was working on was merging the profile menu. We had two menus, one manage and one profile. We merged them into one, and also we added these counters for user traces, donations, delegation. We added these counters that in the pull request that was recently merged, and some other issues, a couple of issues that was fixed and merged. And now I'm working on onboard.js to implement it for trace. Now in my in view campaign in view campaign component, I mean in this page I have implemented. It's now using onboard.js for getting user address. With the user address, you can see the logs here. These are onboard.js logs. For example, I will change the user, and as you see, the data can here. And if I open a new private window, the first time that the onboard.js connects to the wants to connect with the user, it asks the user to select a wallet, and after the user select a wallet, for example, I choose a MetaMask, it will be stored on the browser storage, and if I refresh the page, it won't ask me again. And this is the way that we simplify it, and we don't ask the user again and again. But I think we can can design a button here to reset it. For example, if the user wants to change the wallet from MetaMask to Torres, we can design an option for him to do that. But currently, the user chooses it once and we won't ask him again. Thank you. We'll pass it to Monk.
Good job, Ramin. Thank you. It looks classic, but we are making on test UAT issue, and we approve it after a while. Amin, do you have any updates that want to share with us?
Sorry, I wanted to add something. Sorry, I forgot to. I started the implementation of onboard.js yesterday, so it's not fully implemented. I think I have done 10% and 90% is left, but no worries, I'm working on it and I'm doing my best to implement it as fast as I can. Sorry, I will pass it to Amin.
Thank you. Thank you. I can help you up, of course, if you like, and we can have a talk after the call. I did most of my activity on Giveth as well as pull request review. Today I just implemented the segment integration with the Giveth trace. Am I shared my screen? Do you share my screen? Do you see my screen?
I don't see nothing. I mean, you're not sharing screen.
Okay, let's do it again. Yeah. Okay, you can see now, yeah?
Analytics.
You see my screen?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's a segment integration. It's in the test, but if I use a preview, and let's make it like that. Okay. Okay, it's a segment. If you see the light, here is the debug. Whenever I do an action, I wrote to some another path. Let's refresh that. It's old. It will show me the new path I have. It shows us every path, every page that is visited by users. It should be updated now. Do you see?
I mean, your connection is a little bit.
I can see I can see it. I mean,
Yeah, I was saying good.
it might be on your end, Monique.
Okay. So let's see whether it's work or not. Yeah, I should turn on my camera again. So every page visited by users are shown here. It's the let's go to some campaign, for instance. This campaign, you see it show me the campaign. So I will done it. I switch to Robson. I donate just one token. If I reject, there should be some action that reject donation. Do you see it? It was a if I donate, it will be another thing. So it will track. I had donated. So if we track action, other type of action, for instance, mark my trace complete, proposing trace, something like that. All the activities that maybe we will be interested. Just that's the update, and there are some few bug fixes. this pull request. No other thing to do for you.
I mean, this is on the front end and the back end, it looks like.
No, it's on the front end.
It's just on the front end. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And the
Sorry,
back end, I don't think that there is some. Is there a segment does have any SDK for backend? I didn't find it.
It exists in the impact graph right now, so I'm assuming there's a way.
Okay. So impact graph has some report.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually the only place it exists right now on Giveth.io. So, yeah, it works pretty well.
Good, but we have the Elasticsearch for now for in the Federa's Giveth. But if it's needed, we can add it to Federa's Giveth as well. But we have Elasticsearch and Sentry monitoring and Sentry crash reporting on the Federa's. Yeah. Sorry for it.
Cool.
Very well. So let's have a discussion about all over the verification process. If all of you agrees, shall we? Show thumbs up. Okay. We assume that the process starts over the I/O. For example, I have a project there, and it's a kind of active project. I just ask for verification, goes to that type form, and after that, I got my project verified. But about the traceable projects, we don't have any idea about that. We have to put that request in the verification process or after that. And, if we have an existing campaign in the trace, that, for example, it has a, campaign owner and wants to have it on I/O, we suggest that we do not support them after that process. We just start making new campaigns as a traceable projects. And we have another assumption that the verified campaigns on Trace are the traceable projects on I/O. And we have this strategy that show all the simple users, not the management users, the traceable projects, parentheses, campaign, verified campaigns in Trace, we just to show them to the I/O users to have a view all over it. And we just start, integrating these two projects just to add projects as a card in I/O. I think Mateo has already started. We just give him a query and API that can use it for this, verified projects to verified campaigns to show it on a Trace as a traceable projects. But the main question is how is the process of making a project traceable? When do we have to ask the project manager to go that process? And I think Lauren has another issue that we chat all over it in the development group, that is what we should do about the request of, for example, being a community manager. Because all this is just manually. Do they have to email us and ask for being a community manager, or another thing? That there's just two main questions. I love, I suggest everyone to talk and have any ideas about it.
I was thinking the same thing after reading Lauren's article, which is awesome, by the way. Really well done. But like, yeah, okay, we have a way to be verified campaigns owners or to have a campaign, but how do we let someone have a cause-focused community? I think it's just out of scope for now, and we just say, you don't. I would even be down to hide communities from the UI in the short term if we want to keep things simple. I don't really like that. I think our communities are super cool. And if you read Lauren's article, it's like, oh, that is so cool. You know, like you can veto how people spend donations. That's fucking cool, you know? But I don't think I don't think we should include it in our scope for like actually allowing people to do it. Maybe just wait for them to beg. Or something very informal, like what was already the plan, which is like go to project verification and like say, hey, we want to be a community. And maybe it's like that's the next step. It's like you have to have multiple campaigns on Trace or something. But I'd be down for Ashley just to come up with something. And we just do whatever she wants.
Well, I really do like the idea of communities and having community. But not having causes and like in the future with like the funding and stuff. And so I'm wondering like how the role of communities comes into that. Our causes in the future, or so I'm kind of looking at that. As far as onboarding new communities, I'm not really sure of the best way to go about it. It seems like it's going to be a manual process regardless of what way we choose to implement that. I guess that's my 2 cents. And as far as project verification from IO to Trace, I think that seems like a pretty seamless thing at the moment. I think that I envision once somebody verifies their project on Giveth.io, they would then receive an email that says, hey, you're verified. Now you can start using Trace. Would you like to put your campaign on there? And then from that point, it would go to Amin to set up the campaign, or whoever is going to take the role of moving them over or mirroring that. The other way seems kind of confusing a little bit, like how we would move the current verified campaigns to being projects on .io. I think it's really discouraging for the campaigns to have to start a new one since they've been working so hard to have all that tracking in the past. So I don't see why they would be very incentivized to start a new campaign other than just having their project on Giveth.io. But if we have enough traffic going to Trace, they wouldn't really necessarily, I don't know how much of a benefit that really is.
I think we only have one external community besides ones that we run. Basically, I run like 2 or something, and then Diamante Luz, and there's a few things that Danny's does, but I don't think and then of course all the Giveth stuff. I think there's only one, and it's the Fair Data Society, and they actually asked to be moved off of Trace and onto IO. So, and that was because they wanted to be able to do XDAI donations.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the big loss of this short-term strategy is that when you have a traceable card, then that card is only accepting mainnet Ether. And so it's like, oh, I wanted to donate with XDAI where gas was cheap or something. Maybe I don't know that we have enough user data to actually know that that's what people want. But yeah, I do see it as a major, I feel like the end goal should be that someone has the flow is you have a project on IO, you have your own address, you're accepting Ether and XDAI donations. Then you upgrade to a traceable campaign where you can have traceable mainnet donations. Hopefully one day we can make bridges on other chains, for Trace. But that's a huge scope and a lot of work. So it's not happening in the next couple of months. So yeah, maybe one day. But for, in this integration path, it feels like the flow would be they have the project, they have an address that accepts it, then they get verified. And honestly, I don't think we need to ask them to put them on Trace. That should just be part of being verified. That's a lot less action steps. And then also, I think it goes along with our ethos of like that. I think we settled in the gathering. We are a donor focused org, and it's all about the donors. And the projects are important, of course. Like the donors want us to support the projects. But if a donor wants their donation to be traceable, it's like money with strings attached, which nonprofits are very used to. This is kind of the standard. So if a donor says, I feel like the choice should be on the donor, where they just decide, oh yeah, I want this to be traceable, and then they get a different button. It's the same button, but it has a different function in the back. It calls the bridge for approve and donate, and then it goes on Trace. And they don't even know. In the long run, they shouldn't have to know. We shouldn't be in the short term. I think it's a great solution to like just put the card there and be like, boom, integrated. Like this is one fucking dApp. I think that's important. One dApp to rule them all. Like let's do this. But like at the same time, in the long run, it feels like they should see. We shouldn't be popping them to another URL or anything for the donors. They should just see this, and then they get the other URL in their email when they see that their money is moving a little bit.
So I want to make it more clear about integrating the making the donations traceable. And the admin's idea is that if they just donate to a traceable project, it goes over the bridge and stuff. But if it goes to not traceable projects over the IO, it goes through the just one address that is the project manager's address. And there is no need for integration into bridge. I assume. Am I right? I love you and Griff has a discussion over it because I heard, some of the sentences over it. One time I heard from Billy, in this meeting, even I think Lauren had some suggestion about the bridge integration. I heard. I'm not sure, but yeah, go ahead.
I agree with the Griff. It's very simple. Generally what dApp does, it shows you some menu, some buttons. When you click that, it prepares some transaction for you. Technically, so when you donate to a project, when you donate and give us Trace, you're doing a transaction, and when you're sending money to another person wallet, is again a transaction. So in the project, when one user wants to donate, it will have two options. One is to simply transfer money directly to project wallet. If user accepts that, we show him the transaction of sending money. If he chooses to be traceable, we make the transaction ready for donating through bridge. So there is not obstacles here. Everything is simple and fast. So I thought that because maybe it was a little vague for you to we don't need to do nothing to do actually. Just design menus and implement the UI. Just that. Nothing on the back end, no smart contract development, nothing.
And in your opinion, a user can select each of his donation, his donation is going to be traceable or not?
Yes, when user clicks the donate button, for instance, a model is shown with two tabs. For instance, I don't know. The first step is that non-traceable. I don't know. I don't want to talk about titles, but there was 2 tabs. That other tabs will have other options. No, we support limited type of. We have another list of tokens that US Trace supports, and there are another list of tokens that we support on the Giveth IO. So it's not. In my mind, it's clear and it's easy.
Don't
Just
we will have difficulties over for example, the leaderboards stuff? That's CSV of transactions, and even the collect or disperse process.
When user donates to Giveth Trace, it will go through Bridge, and Giveth Trace will record that as its leaderboard in its CSV. But if user donates directly, transfer money directly to a user wallet and don't want to be traceable, we don't have any support from Giveth Trace side. I'm not sure about Giveth.io whether they have any output for the direct donation to user wallet or not. But for Giveth Trace, maybe it doesn't. Giveth Trace doesn't know anything. What happens when you donate and Giveth Trace is that you just call a method on a smart contract on the mainnet. So you can do it yourself manually. You can go to Etherscan and do some donation, and the Giveth Trace will update its state. You don't want to even go through the Giveth Trace application and open the website, open the page of Giveth Trace. You are not familiar with the Swiss membership application. The application is that you should pay some due for being member of the Giveth, for being a member of CommonStack. In that application, you just enter the number of DAI you want to pay, and when you click the button, it uses the smart contract of Giveth Trace. But and the money you pay on that application will be shown in Giveth Trace. They are totally separate applications, but they share their smart contracts. That's it. Maybe I should show you some demo of it. But the point, yeah. Giveth, do you want to add anything?
No, I mean, I think it can even be in many ways more simple than even 2 different modules. It's just like a checkbox. Make this traceable, check, and we choose what the default is. I think, unfortunately, because the limited currencies and the limited chains of Trace, the default would need to be that the checkbox is not filled, just because people might come in there with XDAI, people might come in there with whatever, and it might be hard. And so then if they click that checkbox, then they're like, oh yeah, okay, I want to make it traceable. And then it's like, well, here's your 5 options. Or maybe we'll have 10 by that, something, right? Of what we can donate on. And then if they uncheck it, then they see XDAI, they see Ethereum mainnet, all tokens, they have the options.
I have a question. So basically using the Giveth.io interface, their donations might end up going to Trace. Does this have any privacy or consent things that we need to consider? Because we were saying, even potentially we don't ask the projects if they want to get put on Trace. They just do. But is this violating any sort of agreements?
I think we just say that's part of the verification process. You end up with a Trace campaign, and if someone sends money to there, you have access to it. It's I don't know if it's a privacy concern. Giveth is one platform. We have this other product for our donors that like traceable donations, and you don't have to take that money.
Okay, as long as I think then we're very clear when we're doing the project verification process that their project will also be displayed kind of with a different URL.
I sort of think that we would evolve to a place where Trace is more about management than the donation side. It's like all donations happen here. And, you know, unless you want to do like a specific fundraiser for a specific thing that's like a trace, then maybe that shows up on like just the IO on the trace side, at least for a while. Even then, eventually, I think we'd want to kind of split our users into more like donors on IO, fund management on trace.
I'm curious how they will reflect. So, like, will all donations show up on both interfaces and like updates, you know, status updates? Will those also be mirrored from project to campaign? Like, how will that work?
Well, if the donors are only going to one place, we should be able to pull the data off of IO or trace and you know, if we have clear audiences, you know, then we can really structure a website or a view for that audience. If we're always dealing with both audience, I think it gets a little murkier. So yeah, the leaderboard, we can pull, there's a REST API in Trace, we pull all the data, boom, it goes on IO, merged with IO, and we can signify if it's traceable or not if we want. Or maybe we don't, you know, we just like merge the two data structures and display something.
And we just decided to show the donors or show the users of IO all the information if they want, you know, or from the IO and from the trace. But I'm a little bit concerned about the management user. For example, imagine I'm a project owner. I have lots of donations, you know, in IO, and I have lots of to trace. You know, I manage my funds from the IO too, and that's a problem over here. This is just
well, people don't really manage their funds on IO. They manage their funds in their MetaMask wallet or their Taurus wallet.
No, I mean about the delegations, you know, the collect process, even, you know, if for example, somebody refuses or, for example, cancel the trace, you know, we are always talking about, you know, management users should go to trace and do all of their stuff. But we're, you know, gonna mute it about the funds that was observed directly from the IO project over there.
Why would we be? I guess I don't see the challenge. Because like, if someone donates from IO, we'd have their address. If the canceled campaign happens, I mean, the way we handled cancel campaigns sucks. Like, it's broke. We need to figure something out. But from a technical standpoint, we just need to fix that for Trace anyway, because they get some money in like a community that's just them that they can delegate from. Like, that's what happens when it gets canceled for a direct donation. Really weird, bad experience. But like, if we wanted to send that back to the user, we could probably find a way to do that directly when it's canceled.
I think what I'm hearing is if somebody goes onto Giveth.io and donates to a traceable project that is a campaign, those funds are then going directly into the wallet and not being able to be delegated or passed around. They're not being, you know, if a fund management person is using Trace, whatever donations they're receiving on IO are not delegatable or movable, or, you know, they can't really manage those funds within the application. They're just directly sent to their wallet.
Yeah, but then they can send those to the application where they think it should go. Like, it's in their wallet, so now it's their money. So, I mean, this is how I do the Common Stack campaign, right? Like, people donate straight to commonstack.eth from Gitcoin, from all these things. And then that address, all it does, it does a bunch of DeFi yield farming stuff. But besides that, all the money going out goes to Giveth and then is distributed through the campaign. So, but it loses its traceability, you know. And when I donate from the address, it says anonymous donors and from Gitcoin.
Very well. Mitch, Rami, Mohammed, do you have any other complementary ideas?
I have nothing to add. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add either.
Thank you. You know, about the X side that you mentioned, I think, you know, at the 12th of July, we planned to finish the onboard.js stuff. So, and, you know, about 1 week later that we can show the traceable projects on Trace. But if we want to make that traceable donations happen, we have to put more priority on XDA integration on Trace. That's my idea. I mean, can we do it shortly, or Griff, you have an idea?
It's a lot of work. I really don't think that I don't think that we have the resources to do it, or that we should prioritize it over the economy work.
Griff, is it possible to deploy the same bridge that we have on mainnet and XDAI and define totally different tokens here? You know, with the prefix of XDAI, and when user, but you know, there is just one key to which is authorized to mint token. Yes.
Yeah. So,
we can share it.
We could use that server. We could use that server and change it so that it listens to the other bridge. But yeah, so we'd have to deploy the bridge. We'd have to build. We'd have to. I mean, I think before that, maybe we'd want to overhaul the bridge before we'd redeploy it into a new. I feel it just like, you know, the security guard 2-day delay on payments. There's like multi-sig that, you know, can cancel transactions. There's the bridge monitor that would need to be reformatted and copied over. There's like, I mean, it's just a lot of work, and it competes with Give Economy work.
What? Oh.
Any kind of smart contracty work on until we have a token to pay for it.
You know, that what was in my mind was that you know, simply just the same smart contract be deployed there, and we have the second instance of the bridge. We duplicate everything, but the bridge be modified. So for instance, if you collect XDAI token, the mainnet bridge ignore it, and when you collect mainnet tokens, the XDAI bridge ignore it. Something like that.
I think we could do an MVP scope, especially with such a badass team that we have. I'm sure we could pull an MVP scope for this after maybe a week. You know, like a week of like major team members coming together to just like, you know, we create the most simple, like foolproof, no minimal changes. And yeah, we could probably, if we really put our heads down, pull it off in a week. But what if we make that after the economy? You know, like what if we do that after we have someone besides me paying the bills? That would be so cool. That would be so cool. Let's get that.
Of course, we should be
in a week early, you know?
Yeah. Of course, people should be sure. We should be sure that the economy needs that, you know, the users needs that. Actually, is the XDAI the main issue or not?
I had one just really quick topic that I want to make sure we get covered. And this is the double spend transaction that happened. And I think it's worth mentioning. It's like an issue from February. Oh man, where is it? There it is. Let me just share screen really quick. And it's really more of just an educational thing. So it's all in everyone's awareness because I definitely screwed up and didn't follow through with this. And so I need help because I'm not reliable. So please help me. Okay, so there was a double payment. We caught it, luckily. And it came from like, I think it was a manual transaction, right? I mean, that was like the bridge was down. So we made a manual transaction for a few things. But then when the bridge restarted or something happened, then the same transaction that we made manually happened already.
No, do you know what was the reason? How it happened? The bridge has set an incorrect value for transaction hash. User had collected, bridge made a transaction, but the value was saved was the transaction was not correct. The one that bridge had created for the payment. Yes, and the transaction was invalid. So I thought that it had not gone through. So I made it to make it again. The second one was duplicate. I noticed that and the rest of the story that. So that was the only double payment we had, and that was a mistake from me, basically. And then maybe we didn't make it serious and to cancel it after.
There was a cascade of mistakes. Everything was working according to plan. We have this whole infrastructure dedicated to catching this potential of mistakes. And this is like the first one we ever caught. And then we went through the process where the security guard has the power, Bowen, has the power to delay any payment, I think up to 90 days. And so the first step was, hey, Bowen, please delay the payment. The second step was, okay, now we have to rally this multi-sig to, actually like cancel the payment. And so that involves a cat herder getting 6 people a cat herder to first make the transaction in the multi-sig and then actually get 5 other people to sign that transaction. Most of them don't really, work for Giveth anymore. So then we didn't do that. I didn't do that. I think I assume that I said that I would do it and it fell through the cracks. So then 3 days ago, the transaction actually went through and we sent 605. I assume that Nelson must have gotten an email or something to get it and then clicked a button to collect it, or maybe not. Maybe he collected it a long time ago and then it's a double transaction. So I don't know exactly if he had an action or not. Probably not. And it was just sent to him. He doesn't even know he has it yet, and he's upstairs right now. Don't tell him. But then I'm still confused on like how much money should he be getting out of this milestone? Because when I counted the donations, he had 2,200, but then so it's only like 114 extra. And this is a double transaction of 600. So I would love to know like how much he should be sending back, or just confirm exactly how many donations. Like, I don't know if I should trust the front end or not.
I think I just calculated the donations amount, and it was the 600. The difference was 600. If you go to that, you have don't calculate yourself. Go up, scroll up, please. we see here 2,200 and we send 2,800.
Okay. So here's the 420. So we sent 2,800. Okay, yeah, I think I missed this 420 here. The first one.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it is 605.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The good thing is that we can now try double payments even on feathers. We can do it. Mohammed know it. When for one payment we have double payment authorized transaction, we will know it in feathers. Am I right, Mohammed? Yeah. So we can use feathers to send email for these critical issues.
Cool.
And also that investigation was for the whole history of Giveth Trace.
Yeah.
So we know that only for 6. Yeah.
Which is amazing. But it's also why I just wanted to call it out and make sure everyone saw this, because this is a historic event. Our security system failed for the first time ever, which is a miracle. Something to celebrate and learn from. But I have a hard stop. I have to run to another. Sorry.
Of course.
Thanks for letting me dominate the conversation. It was.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Ramin, can me and you have a talk after? Bye.
Sorry, Mitch, but we don't have any more time, like about the analytics.
Can I ask something that's like medium pressing? So what about this? Should we launch Trace on Wednesday? I mean, like we were talking to, or should we definitely just delay? Like,
launch it.
Should we publicly announce it? Because I mean, there's a lot of things that we're kind of adding, but kind of what we talked about in comms is like, well, I mean, it's live now, and we can announce that it's like out of beta, and that we have like the gas being paid for, and like to get on there, you have to do project verification, and then like donors can donate on Trace, and they get traceable donations, just these components, and then like all the other things that we're going to be adding. Can be like rolled out incrementally, because otherwise, like we could launch today, we could launch never, we could launch, you know what I mean? Like it's like it could just be more and more that we add to it. So I don't know. I just want to know what you guys think.
Yeah, you're right. But Lauren, when we decide to get out of the beta, we don't have any discussion about the verification and stuff. Onboard JS or integrating with IO. It was at the end of the June, and at that time I was asked the communication team to get their requirements about finishing that the Trace project at that time, and we announced it or not. But at this time, I myself believe that if we want to demonstrate and focus mostly on, for example, the integration between IO and the verification process, etc. We need more time to make sure that onboard JS is working. And if we talk about the mass market, the users, we might don't have any rush about it. We can wait, and we can make sure that it's working, and after that we announce.
Do we need integration to announce Giveth Trace?
That's what I think. I don't think we do.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I think the integration can be like another thing that comes out later. And then once we have them fully integrated, we have a post announcing like how Giveth.io and Giveth Trace are now like fully working together. Yeah. But I don't think, because like just being out of beta and having the DApp stable is like something noteworthy. And also it's like Mitch had another good point when the comms channel we were talking is like, we haven't really like been announcing, and not a lot of progress, like not a lot being put on display. So it's like we have a bunch of things coming up soon. And so we could announce Trace now, and then we announce integration, then we announce Give token, then we announce, the gardens and all these things. It's like there's a lot happening. So it's nice and exciting to announce in bits, and then also people are able to like understand as things develop. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like worth it to keep Trace still a secret, because I want to also, now we have like, we have all these great memes about like Giveth pays the gas for you, like, and I would love to tweet about it and get more attention on Trace, or get like more people taking a look at like how much better it's become. But it's still like a secret as far as comms is concerned, because we haven't just made an announcement.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you, but I found some sentences or some paragraphs on your doc that was mentioning the new features, and because of that, I said that we'd better make sure that this stuff is working. But if we take a look another to our purpose, we decided that Trace is not for regular. It's not for regular people. It's not, it just have a very targeted society that we might postpone it about the announcement. But I'm totally okay with you at this time. We can do it, but if we want to mention about the new functionalities, we'd better wait.
What are you specifically referring to that we shouldn't mention?
I think it's about the verification process.
All I said about the verification process is that like all the projects on Trace are verified projects, and that like in order. Go ahead, Ashley.
I understand what both of you guys are saying. I understand wanting to get announcements out in bits and like just keeping attention and engagement and releasing exciting things. The thing about, especially with the project verification process, is we haven't even tried it yet. And I think that was what was so successful about I.O. in the verification process, is we just reached out to a few projects here and at least like tried it. And then as we went through that process with them, we could hone the verification process to be more smooth and integrated. But at this point, we haven't integrated any of the projects together, so we don't even know how that would work going forward. So I don't know, maybe we reach out, or maybe we start with the verified projects that we already have. We get those over and like see how that works and how that looks. And then, once we have at least tested it, then we announce. I don't know. I would hate to announce it now and then have us be really sloppy when it actually comes to using it,
Okay, so you're suggesting that then the blocker should really be onboarding of our current verified projects from I.O. to Trace. And then once we are able to like prove that that's possible and working fine, then we're done. Then we launch.
Yeah, I would say we at least test it out, and see how it goes.
Okay.
So what was the last decision?
Well, Ashley thinks that before we announce, we should test adding projects that were verified from I.O. onto Trace and like make sure that we're not having any bugs or anything uncomfortable.
So why don't announce right now? You mean that you want at least one verified project to be added and then announce?
Well, I mean, I just think we should test the process before we announce it and start using it. I don't know.
I guess it's a different thing. We should announce US traces already, and then we say about our plan for onboarding new projects, new campaign. Onboarding new project, and we have plan to get more verified projects.
Okay, so maybe in our announcement we just take out the part of anything that has to do with like the projects being verified and transferred over. We just announce that our platform is live, it's no longer in beta, but we don't mention anything about the verification process until we announce the integration. Is that what you're suggesting?
What was your last? You broke up. Sorry. What was your last sentence?
Oh, I was just saying that maybe in the announcement that we do now, we just leave out anything that has to do with the verification process. We don't talk about the integration at all, and we just save that announcement, the verification process, for the integration announcement.
Yes, that's cool. Yeah.
All I said about project verification is that to get on Trace, you need to first get verified on IO. Basically.
Yeah.
In a paragraph. That's all it says.
Yeah, because that's the confusing part, is that in order to even use Trace at this point, because of the decisions that we made at the retreats and everything in our gatherings, that in order to even use Trace as a campaign, you have to start on IO. So it's like the integration is we can't get around that part. Like that's part of this whole thing, you know?
Okay.
Lauren, you just asked in the channel, the Giveth Trace Dev, that I think we could announce even if the Torus integration isn't finished. I'm totally agree with you. We can announce, but we'd better not mention it in that article. That's it.
Yeah.
But if you want to put focus on, having a kind of integration, and for example, making, the blocker of verification process right now is just that the Torus wallet address that we have to do onboard JS things, test over it, and make it sure. If you just make an edit from that article, it's okay. Announce it. It's my idea.
Okay. Right.
And we have to make sure that we're ready for ups and bugs, even the weekends, 24/7.
Well, do you guys feel, so then other than project verification, if we take that part out of the announcement entirely, then we're okay to announce like the day after tomorrow.
On my side, it's okay. What do you think, Amy?
We have changed on the backend and frontend. Actually, the last pull request from Rami, which is merged, was a huge change. We should do a through test, and then we can announce it. Of course, we should stop adding any feature and focusing on security after it, because we will onboard new users. And there will be maybe some hackers will know us and try to,
Can you have an estimate how much leads can this article generate on the trace? How much user? 1,000, 100.
We don't really know right now, and that's why we're trying to do this analytics stuff, is so that when we do announce it, we can track that, and then going forward, we will know the kind of engagement that we're getting. But right now, we have no ways of measuring that. And that's kind of why I suggested, like, maybe if we do announce it now, we focus towards givers, because those are going to be the only people that can actually even use it if we launch it as it is. Because projects, as of right now, the integration isn't there, so it's not useful for projects to even use Trace as it is right now.
I don't see any obstacles for announcing. I don't think that it has a huge load or security problem. Let's do it. But can we make sure that all the changes has been finished up to Wednesday evening?
We don't have anything under develop except onboard.js.
Forget about the onboard.js. All the things that I did the test today includes the profile section. I think we can do it. It's not a big deal.
What about the analytics stuff? Can we push that to live?
The front end is I have implemented, and I put it for test. I can merge it to the front end, I guess. And you can test and develop. There is a pull request also. If you see it with the name of segment and Giveth tab, there is a preview link on it, deploy preview. If you have any problem on finding the link, I will send you that link.
Mm-hmm.
You can see in the Giveth Trace development, debug. You can see the events for page visit, for action you do. If you have any
And
comments,
so-
please.
The main benefit of having analytics and feathers, I don't know if you can do it in the front end, but actually pulling out the data. So like how many donations did we receive in a certain amount of time? What kind of donations, which currency, new campaigns onboarded, new traces made. So being able to track that in the database will give us a lot more information than just page views.
They are in the logs of the front end, actually. So we can use that data to know how.
Okay, so all the data that we need is actually in the front end?
Yes, it's front end send do the action and send the request. Please play with that link and see the events in the segment. Maybe it covers everything that you need.
Okay,
and give this data to Mitch from the what do you call it, Kibana too.
It's another thing, it's for ourselves, for developers to see what happens to database.
Yeah, I know it, but there's some logs, it can easily be filtered. But sorry,
it's not meaningful for some non-devs people. It was the crude actions on the database: create, read, update, and delete. Yeah, so it cannot be used easily by you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw the stuff on this segment. Go ahead, Ashley.
So if we do this launch post and announce Trace, and we put some links in there that are unique, are we going to be able to track how many people came to Trace because they saw those posts, or Twitter or whatever?
Yeah, so Willie showed me you can use UTM trackers, which are going to generate unique links that we use. And so when those links go to the Giveth Trace page, that's going to send that information automatically into our analytics suite. So we can track, like, this link came from Twitter, this is for the Trace launch campaign, this link came from Medium, this link came from our Discord. And so you can generate custom links that are all going to be tracked and analyzed.
And that's all set up and ready to go.
Well, Amindra showed it to me this morning, so I need to
I see.
make sure. So that exists right now and develop right now, Amin?
Yeah, there's a preview link. I will manage it to develop. Please test it.
Yeah. And then I'm going to test it, and then from there, we can just make the links, and then we always make sure that we're using the same link and plug it into stuff. And then that way that we'll be able to get consistent things that are tracked.
Even we don't have links, the analytics can show what was the, source. For example, if anyone search on the Google and find, for example, the trace develop. It says in this test that it was, what was the keywords, how much they spent times in different pages, etc. Okay, so do you think, Mish, it is necessary for announcing, or it's not?
I think it'd be cool to have. I think it's something that everyone would be interested to look at.
So,
but at the end of the day, I don't think it should be a blocker.
Especially with all this talks about setting KPI goals and different stuff like that we can set those goals based off of data that we've already accrued rather than guesswork,
Mm-hmm.
So, can we make sure that at their Wednesday morning or Wednesday evening, we can push all of these together to the trace.giveth.io?
Analytics? It should probably, yeah. Onboard.js? I'm not sure.
No, I'm not talking about Onboard.js.
Yeah, everything. You should just test it. If everything goes well. Yeah.
But it's kind of okay, so we need to test it after it gets implemented. And it really only is 2 days that we have in order to do it until we'd be announcing. Do we need to should we just push and be we're announcing at this time or should we make things a little bit more flexible for ourselves? I don't know. I don't want to like put like pressure on just like if we want to get analytics working, we want to make sure that it's actually working. Maybe we make sure it's working and then we announce after that, rather than like we're gonna announce on Wednesday and then like try to get whatever we can until that point, you know?
No, let's set the goal. It's
Okay.
totally okay. I think we can do it, but if we don't, for example, we don't get live the analytics. Without analytics, we can go live.
Okay.
And yeah, let's set a goal. I'll
Okay.
let you know if we very, get in trouble. We'll let you know, but I don't think so. We can do it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so let us know. Yeah, let us know if there's like going to be a major blocker. Otherwise, like this is getting launched without talking about project verification on Wednesday Eastern morning.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, cool. Well, that's exciting. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Okay. Bye.
Sleep well. Have a good day.
night,
Sorry.
Everybody.
Yeah, good night. Sweet dreams.
Goodbye.
Good night.